Hello everyone, this is AndresRestart, and this time we are talking about how it is now looking like a Nintendo announcement is imminent. And what I'm getting at here is that at least one Nintendo published title, if not more, in a Nintendo Direct is about to be announced within the next couple weeks. We've been talking about some Nintendo Direct rumors, but more recently some evidence has popped up to suggest that something is indeed about to happen. And that's what we're getting into today. But before going forward, let me take this moment to point out that I am aiming to reach 50,000 subscribers by the time the Switch 2 launches. So if you find yourself enjoying my content, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe and hit that notification bell. So to be clear here, the Direct we're talking about here is not the big Nintendo Switch 2 Direct on April 2nd. We are talking about a Direct for February that will be focused on the first Nintendo Switch. Nintendo still needs to make announcements for Switch 1, both first party and third party. If you look at Nintendo's history, it does make sense to think that they would still be putting out games for Switch 1. Switch 2 is not even out yet. Switch 1 is still selling relatively well, and you're going to want to have a couple years of a transition period, so there should still be some games coming, and at this current point in time, the only game that we have a specific date for from Nintendo is Xenoblade Chronicles X this March. Pokemon Legends EA, Prime 4, only have the 2025 blanket date. Not even those have a specific time, and so right now there are a lot of empty spots for Switch releases. Of course, unlike prior years, because this is the release of Nintendo's next generation, Switch 2, it's probably reasonable to expect that the amount of games coming from Nintendo on Switch 1 is going to drop off. It's probably not going to be one published title per month anymore, but there still need to be some. And considering the history of February Directs, they've been pretty consistent, it makes sense to think there will be one in this month of February, and now we have two different journalists reporting that they have heard that there will be a Direct in February. We've talked about PH Brazil, he's checked back with his sources, he's doubled down, tripled down on there being a Direct in February from what he has heard, and now most recently, just a day ago, Jeff Grubb also said that he heard from his source, a reliable source, and he asked again a second time that yes, there's supposed to be a Direct in February. Now, what kind of Direct is that going to be? That remains to be seen. Many of us, myself included, doubt it's going to be a big general because we have the big Switch 2 Direct coming on April, and if Nintendo is winding down with their own Switch announcements right now, it might make more sense to expect a Nintendo Direct Mini or a partner showcase. Of course, we don't know for sure. But something just popped up. So on Best Buy, pre-orders have opened up for a Kirby amiibo. They are reprinting this Kirby amiibo, and pre-orders are now up, and it's coming out on February 25th, 2025. In other words, just 12 days from now, it is going to come out. Why would they be reissuing a Kirby amiibo? Well, it might have to do with this rumored announcement of Kirby Planet Robobot Remastered, or Deluxe. Nate the Hate, another industry insider who's known to be pretty reputable, most recently they said that there would be a Nintendo Switch 2 reveal on January 16th, and that's exactly what happened. But they've also been talking about how Kirby Planet Robot will be coming to Switch. They've doubled down on the idea, and they've even said it's supposed to be coming out in this year of 2025. And so now we have a Kirby amiibo that's some evidence to support this rumor, but on top of that, a few weeks ago, we also had Good Smile, in official collaboration with Nintendo, reissuing this Kirby Planet Robot figurine that they initially put out when Robobot came out. And so we have this Robobot figurine coming, we have the Kirby amiibo coming out in February, we have the Nate the Hate rumor, we have these multiple rumors from credible places of a Direct happening in February. All of this seems to be lining up here. But there's actually even more that's going on. But before I get into that more, let me first point out the history of Kirby releases here. So, looking through the history of Kirby releases, right? The last few remasters, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe came out February 2023. Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn on 3DS came out March. But now let's go back to the other mainline Kirby games. Kirby and the Forgotten Land came out in the month of March. Star Allies came out March. Kirby Planet Robot, the original release, came out June 2016, and then Kirby Triple Deluxe came out May 2014. And so I go over these dates because I think it shows that more recent mainline Kirby releases, spin-offs come out randomly whenever throughout the year, but the mainline Kirby releases, including the remasters, tend to come out in the first half of the year. And so while we have Nate the Hate saying that Kirby's supposed to be coming out in 2025, the history of Kirby suggests it should be coming out in these first few months. An announcement has not been made yet. You would assume there would have to be some window between announcement and release, but we also now have the Good Smile Robot figurine and the Kirby Amiibo reprint that's releasing on February 25th. So it's just more reason to think that an announcement should be happening in this month of February for at least Kirby Planet Robobot, a remaster of it. But also, given the Nintendo Direct rumors and how Kirby Planet Robot alone is probably not going to be enough to satisfy the Switch 1 library, more announcements seem likely to happen really soon. And going back to what I was teasing earlier, this user right here, you may or may not recognize. Their name now is not a leaker, but this person is actually the same leaker known as Pioro, who's gotten so many things right over the last couple years, and typically when they change their account or they say something, it lines up with some sort of announcement from Nintendo happening relatively soon. Now, they didn't reply or make any tweets as of late, so the Pioro notifications have not went off, but I was checking this account just a few days ago to see if there were any updates, and there wasn't. So this happened recently, like just a few days ago. Beforehand, they had a different avatar. The avatar was of a Paldean Tauros, the water form. Now it's just a simple coffee mug thing, and their banner is totally blank. I don't remember if they had said this before, everything I said is BS, which, by the way, is also not true. They're probably trolling or teasing something. Sure, there are some things in the past maybe they haven't gotten 100% right, but in terms of leakers, Pioro's probably one of the most reliable there ever has been. Point is, they made a change here, and given their history, that may line up with something about to happen. Of course, they could just be changing things around because they choose to change things around, but usually it means something. And so personally, where I'm at with this, I think there's a decent chance we just get a Nintendo Direct partner showcase, and that will be focused on third-party announcements. Now, with a Nintendo Direct partner showcase, there can still be some first-party announcements, but they would be first-party announcements where it's a third-party developer working with Nintendo, so still a partner. One example would be last year when we got the announcement for Endless Ocean Luminous. So there could be some sort of first-party Nintendo-published announcement in this partner showcase, and so maybe we see something like that, and we also have the Kirby Planet Robot announcement on social media. That's one way things could go down, or we're just going to get some kind of Nintendo Direct that's just a proper mix of both first and third party. I'm sure most people would prefer that, but I'm trying to temper my expectations a little bit here, considering what's on the horizon with the Switch 2 Direct. But at least Kirby Planet Robot seems pretty likely, and considering when we're expecting the Switch 2 to come out, May or June are the common estimations. I'm actually personally predicting a May 15th release. But looking specifically at Kirby Planet Robot as a Switch 1 game, this might be a really good game to put out around this time because Kirby has a very casual reach. Yes, it appeals to the core Nintendo gamer, and Planet Robot in particular is considered one of the better Kirby games. I don't pick up every Kirby game, but this one I'm probably going to do because Planet Robot's pretty awesome. But my point is this might be a pretty good game that could come out very close to the launch of the Switch 2, and it wouldn't be that much of a negative impact for the game, given its casual reach and or younger audience appeal. A lot of people who may not be picking up the Switch 2 day one, but are still going to want something kind of new to play on their Switch 1s. And so we even talked about how, looking at the history of Kirby releases over the last few years, Kirby games come out in that first half. Now, February and March don't seem likely anymore unless we get some sort of shadow drop, but April or May or June, that window of time where we're expecting to get a lot of Switch 2 stuff and the release, Kirby could be slotted in there and might still do relatively well. Especially if this game is not only just a nice visual reworking of Planet Robobot, similar to how they reworked Return to Dreamland with Return to Dreamland Deluxe, but also maybe we get some nice extra content in some sort of epilogue story like they did with Return to Dreamland Deluxe with Magolor's Quest. That remaster came out just 2 years ago. I think the precedent is set, that is the standard. I'd be very surprised if Robobot doesn't have new content along those lines. And so personally, I'm expecting this announcement to happen within the next couple weeks. If not next week, the week after. This seems like an imminent Nintendo announcement. And actually, before I close out here, something else just dawned on me. It's possible that Pyoro could be hinting at something Pokemon related. It is believed that we will have another Pokemon Presents at the end of February for Pokemon Day, as we've been getting the last few years. We haven't gotten any updates on Pokemon Legends ZA yet, so it's expected we'll get an update there. But also, potentially, there could be another Pokemon game announced. There's been some theories about spin-offs, maybe they will announce another remake made by ILCA. There's a variety of possibilities here, and it's possible that Pyoro may have been referencing this. After all, their prior avatar was of a Pokemon. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments below. This is AndresRestart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.